If there's one thing that I've learned in the past about pre-emergence and weed control, it's all about the timing. So keep watching and I'll explain what I mean by that. It's been about 5 years since I've moved away from the typical 4-step programs that you get at the big box stores, and I've moved into using more specific products for my yard. I also prefer to use liquid applications as much as possible versus a granular application. With that being said, one of the most important applications you can get down on your lawn is a pre-emergent in the springtime. And when done right, and at the right time, you can have a completely weed-free lawn for the entire season. Now, when I say timing, what I'm really talking about is soil temperatures, because that's the critical factor that you need to pay attention to at this time of year. There's no specific date for doing this, because as we've seen lately, the seasons can change earlier or later than the calendar shows. Rule of thumb is, when you start seeing soil temperatures in the 50s, that's when you need to put down an application of a pre-emergent. This is the temperature that weeds start to germinate in the soil. So what you want to do is get down a barrier in the soil that will prevent those weeds from fully germinating. So how do you find out what your soil temperatures are? Well, I go about doing it a few different ways. The first, which I find the easiest, is to get into a website called Greencast. You plug in your zip code and it gives you a ton of local data, one of them being soil temperatures. It'll give you past and present and even give you trends, so you can really see what's going on in your specific area. I'll use this to get myself close to being in range so I know when to start preparing to get things down for a pre-emergent. Another really easy way to get soil temperatures in your yard is to use a food thermometer. Now, I recommend getting one that's digital and one that gives you an instant reading. That way you can get something that's really accurate and you're not waiting for some kind of dial to adjust to get your temperature. Accuracy is really important here because a few degrees can mean the whole world in missing that window of opportunity. If you're going to use a meat thermometer or a food thermometer like this, you're going to need to do it a few times a day. So if you want to do it in the morning before you leave for work, when you get home from work, and then later in the evening, make yourself a chart and you can actually see and map out some trends that are going on in your yard, and that way you'll actually see what's going on and know when it's time to actually put down that pre-emergent. I'll actually use the thermometer method along with the Greencast method because my yard is full sun, so sometimes Greencast will tell me soil temperatures in my area, but they're not really accurate to my yard because my soil sometimes tends to be a little bit warmer than the Greencast will actually tell me for my area. Lately I've been using a Wi-Fi sensor that's actually a soil probe that gives temperature and moisture readings. It's part of a kit made by Ambient Weather, and it has a bunch of other sensors at my house for temperature and moisture, inside and outside. I'll leave a link to the kit down below that I picked up on Amazon. It's fairly reasonably priced and it gives you a lot of information. What I like about this most is it has a computer website or an app for your phone that you can log into, and it'll give you the same kind of information that Greencast gives you, but now it's very specific to your yard because now you have a sensor stuck in the soil in your actual yard. The app on the phone and the computer are really user-friendly. They give you a ton of information. It'll give you current information, it'll give you trends, and so that way you can really figure out when it's the right time to put down your pre-emergent by seeing when those temperatures are starting to rise into that right range. So if you're really serious about having a weed-free lawn this season, get yourself a good pre-emergent like prodiamine or tenacity and start watching those soil temperatures. Once they hit that 55-degree mark, there's no guarantee that you're not going to have weeds all season long. So start checking those soil temperatures now and get ahead of the problem. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on all the upcoming videos.